Hi, my name is York, and I'm back with another update for Obey Me Till Death Do Us Part. And this time we're going to look at the new bedrooms for the Demon Brothers, which is exciting. I did say in my last video with the clothing that there was a chance that they were going to change the bedrooms, and it seems like I was right because these don't look familiar at all. So we're going to look at these together and see what we can see and kind of speculate on what's going on with the Demon Brothers these days. Okay, so here we have Lucifer's bedroom, and it's looking quite regal. These archways and windows, they kind of remind me of like a castle. So I'm wondering if the Demon Brothers have moved into Lord Diavolo's castle. We haven't heard anything about the side characters. Part of me is a little bit concerned that Diavolo isn't around and the Demon Brothers are now the rulers of the Devildom. I don't think that's the case. Obviously, don't take my word for it. But we haven't heard anything about them yet. And this really does kind of remind me of what Diavolo's castle would look like. As well as this, to me, it seems like this isn't the House of Lamentation and that they have moved out. And the reason I think that is because through these windows we can see that they are now central to the Devildom, whereas the House of Lamentation seemed to be... It was in a wooded area, I think. They had a huge fallen tree in the back garden. Whenever you look through the windows of the rooms, you would see like silhouettes of trees and forests. And in the intro video for the original Obey Me game, it starts off with the point of view you kind of running through a forest towards the House of Lamentation. So that's why I think it's more secluded and in a wooded area, and now that they're in the central Devildom, it seems like they've moved out. So I'm wondering what the deal with that is, like what the reason is that they've moved out. Like I said, I have my speculations, but obviously we don't know until the game comes out or until the devs decide to tell us more. So yeah, this is Lucifer's bedroom. I actually really like it a lot, but it does lack the kind of warmth that Lucifer's original bedroom has. Like, yeah, it's got this fireplace, but I mean, it's got like less personality in a way. Because Lucifer's old bedroom, you know, it had, you know, this huge painting. It had smaller pictures or paintings on top of the fireplace. He had a phonograph where he could play his haunted records. You know, you could see his personality a little bit more. Here it feels a lot more empty and cold in a way. Don't get me wrong, I like it. I think it's pretty. And it just doesn't feel the same, you know. It has a very, very different vibe to it. And even this bed, even though it has like this posts on it, it's not as big as the old one. Like the old bed was huge. This bed is so much more small. More intimate, you could say. But you know what? Points for them not having a weird skeleton in the corner. I still don't know what's up with that and why they decided to put that in his original room. It was a bit strange. You know, I might have to do a video about their old rooms and just kind of spot all the weird things that were in there, because there were a few. But yeah, so far I have to say I do like this bedroom. It just feels more regal and more cold than what we're used to. But I don't actually have any complaints other than that. Okay, next is Mammon's room, and we can see through the windows again that we are more central to the city. His room is very, very, very similar to his original. Like, with his cars up here, and then you go down a flight of stairs, and then there's like his main bedroom area. It's changed a little bit. Like, I'm pretty sure his bed was kind of in an alcove, like under here, where he now has a sick bar, to be honest. You know, his pool table's missing. He had a pool table here, but now he has this like nice L-shaped sofa. Well, it's more like a U-shape actually. It still is very Mammon. I don't know why you would graffiti the word demon above your bed, but you do you, I guess. What I'm concerned about is just the shower next to the bed. Bit strange. It's a strange place to put a shower, I guess, but I mean, if you're there alone or you're just there with, I guess, your partner, your spouse, then I guess it's okay. It's still a little bit weird though. Like, can you imagine waking up and he's just fucking butt-ass naked in the shower? You have to wake up and look at that. Well, yeah, this is still very Mammon. His bed is messy, like, his original bedroom was quite messy as well. You could see piles of clothing everywhere. It's a little bit neater, but it still has that kind of, I won't say laziness to it, but yeah, he's always been a little bit sloppy, so I'm glad that to see that they've, like, retained that. And I think his room, definitely matches the new kind of casual style they've given him as well. You know, I'd say what they're doing with Mammon is probably so far one of the most cohesive things they're doing. Like, they're matching his job, his room, his clothing. They all seem to fit well together, whereas some of the others don't really. But yeah, Mammon's room, I actually really like this, and I prefer it to his old bedroom as well. I will say that when it comes to designing the locations, the devs are doing really well. They're just not doing well with the outfits. But they're doing really well with the, you know, with the job locations and with the bedrooms. And I will say I do always enjoy the backgrounds that they draw. It's part of the reason why the background I use is Lucifer's office. Because I don't know how to draw backgrounds. I've been trying to draw a background for myself for like a month and I can't do it. So, you know, their backgrounds always look really like clean and crisp and like you can tell what everything is. I definitely prefer it to his old room. His old room looked a bit bland, if I'm honest, like it was very grey. Okay, next we have Levi's room. Controversial. I don't like it. I don't like it. I've seen quite a few people say that they like it. I don't like this. It just feels a little bit too strange. It doesn't feel like Levi anymore. This just feels like The Little Mermaid. I see what they're going for. And, you know, you can still see a little bit of his personality left in here. Like, you can clearly see, like, his manga all on the shelf here. You can see his big Rory plush, and Henry is in the bubble. I think that's cute. I just don't see why they leaned so much into the underwater theme. Like, is he actually underwater? Like, are we gonna have to drown every night if we marry this guy? And also, like, he still has his bathtub, which means him and MC are gonna be sleeping in separate places. Like, I'm glad he still has the bathtub, but I mean, it doesn't, yeah, I don't know, I just don't like it. I prefer his old room so much more than this. This feels a little bit too different. Like, I understand they're trying to lean into the sea god kind of aspect of him, but this feels a little bit too much. I would have preferred something similar to his old room, like maybe like keep the marine style furniture. I think it's really cool. Like, I love these seashell chairs and this like octopus table. It's cool. I don't like the way everything's floating like it's actually underwater. It makes me nervous for some reason. Yeah, I think it's a little bit too much. Sorry, Levi. Also, the rendering in this room feels really weird. Like, it doesn't feel like the same game. It looks almost too 3D, if you see what I mean. But yeah, I don't like this one. All right, next is Satan's room. It does very much feel like Satan's room. Like his old room, there was just books everywhere. And I'm glad to see that they've like kept that, you know, there are still books everywhere. It's a lot cleaner though. Like, I will say his old room, such a fire hazard. And it's so messy and it made me feel claustrophobic just looking at it. But I think this is really nice. I'm wondering if it spans 2 floors and like he has more bookshelves upstairs, or if that just leads to like, I don't know, maybe the main part of the house or the castle or wherever they're living right now. And like you come down the stairs into his bedroom. But yeah, I mean, it's cute. He's got his little reading chair here as well. His bed is bigger too. His original bed, I'm pretty sure he had a single bed. Same with Asmo as well, actually. Asmo had a single bed. There we see he's got like a nook over here with like even more shelves and ladders so he can get to the really high ones, which is why I'm wondering if this spans like 2 floors. But yeah, I think because this one doesn't look like it's going to trigger my asthma, I think I prefer this one to his old bedroom. So like I said, the devs are doing pretty well for the bedrooms, apart from Levi's, which I just don't like. I like this one. I prefer it. So yeah, the devs are doing pretty well with themselves. It just feels a lot more cozy, but now that I'm looking, is this like a sofa bed? Like a fold-out sofa bed? Because this isn't like a normal headboard. It curves around. It looks like a sofa. So, do you sleep on a sofa bed? It matches this chair over here. It's a different colour, but it's the same style. Oh my god, I think he sleeps on a sofa bed. Okay, that's interesting. Well, that just means like more room, doesn't it, for his books when he's not sleeping. It's not a choice I would ever given him, but you know what? It's inconsequential to me. I mean, he can sleep on a sofa bed if he truly wants to. It's just a bit odd. Where do these stairs go? There's a lot of stairs and ladders in this place now that I'm looking. Okay, I'm gonna stop looking at it because the more I look at it, the more confused I get, and I want to like be positive for once in these videos. So we're gonna move on to Asmo now. I'm gonna be honest, it looks like a strip club, and I couldn't be happier. I couldn't be happier because one of my main complaints about Asmo is that he doesn't have the vibe of a lust demon. He's always felt more prideful to me, actually, because he always took such pride in his appearance and how other people perceived him. He didn't really give lust at all, he gave narcissism. If I'm gonna be completely honest, he was very, he gave narcissus, which is fine. You're allowed to love yourself. But he didn't give off what you would expect from, like, if we're gonna split hairs, an incubus, right? That's what he is. His bedroom didn't give that at all. Like, don't get me wrong, it was beautiful. I do love Asmo's original bedroom, but it didn't give the avatar of lust. It was just too elegant in a way. And come on, dude had a single bed. You're not gonna have a single bed if you're this guy, right? So it didn't feel right to me ever. This feels so much better. You know, we've got this very cute neon light, this big heart bed. It reminds me of the vibrating bed from The Sims. We got like, you know, like a hot tub with the rose petals. That's very nice. You know, the bar. I love it. And then we have this like cage with the swing. Amazing. So they've actually... Oh, he's got a bathtub here too. I didn't even notice that before. So this is a lot more what I wanted for Asmo. So I'm actually really, really happy with this redesign, and I prefer this for him. I didn't have any problems per se with his old bedroom. It just didn't quite match up to who he is as a demon. So this, I'm super, super happy with this. Like, I have a Lust Demon OC and his bedroom. In my mind, I haven't actually drawn it or anything, because like I said, I can't draw backgrounds. It's very similar to this, actually, so... Yeah, this is like good inspiration for that as well. So yeah, and is this a mirror? It better be. Yeah, this is happy. I'm so glad that they've finally done Asmo justice because they have done him so dirty with the outfits. I will say, I don't like these masks on the wall. It's a bit strange, especially like just facing the bath, you've got all these eyes watching you. Feels a little bit invasive. But I'd say this bedroom is a win in my book. You know, it is like the perfect hangout to be romantic and do some lustful activities, if you will. Next is Beelzebub. Dude's in a cave. Dude's in a cave. And I have seen people being like, why on earth have they put Beel in a cave? And this, I can actually kind of tell you why. This is what I think the devs were going for. So... I believe that what they were trying to do is give him a very natural looking setting, because they were trying to make a reference to the William Golding book, The Lord of the Flies, which, if you don't know, is a book about a group of British schoolboys who end up stranded on a deserted island. And, you know, they're trying to survive, they're trying to keep a smoke signal going so that someone can, you know, come and save them. And they're trying to remain civilized, but it quickly devolves into them becoming, you know, feral. And it's quite a famous story. It was probably on some of your recommended reading lists in school. So that's what I think they were going for. You know, like, it's very secluded. It's very natural. We have all these you know, like woven baskets, and it feels very, very isolated and alone. And I think they were making a reference to the book The Lord of the Flies is because in the TSL series, the character that is based on Beal is called the Lord of the Flies. And also Beelzebub directly translates to the Lord of the Flies from Hebrew, or so I've read. So I think that's actually what they were going for, which honestly, it's quite clever. I have to give them credit for that. It is really, really clever. I don't like that he's in a cave, especially if you're like wanting to marry him specifically, and then you just have to live outdoors for the rest of your life. But, you know, I respect what they were trying to do. I respect the references. I respect the research and like the thought that they put into it. So I don't actually have anything bad to say besides I don't want to live in a cave if I marry him. So yeah, that's my interpretation of why they've secluded him and put him in a cave on an island. Like, we can see all these trees in the background, these tall hulking trees. You know, the water, it does make you feel like you're very stranded in a way. So genuinely, I think that's what they were going for. It's a Lord of the Flies reference on more than one front, which I like. Okay, and finally we have Belphegor. So he's clearly in a planetarium. There's just pillows and duvets everywhere. Like, he can just sleep anywhere. What I'm interested in are all these jewels and gems. I can't really think of why they put gems all over his duvets, but you know, maybe that will be explained. We have this dome up here with the constellations. You know, he has this thing that you see in fantasy planetariums all the time that I don't exactly know what it is. I believe it's just a way to like chart the galaxy, like, you know, the sun's in the middle, and then all the other planets and stars will be around it. But I don't know what it's called, but I'm pretty sure that's what that is. And then just all these huge, huge windows so he can be surrounded by the stars all the time. No, it's really nice. I like it. And it is interesting that the twins no longer share a space, and I'm glad about that, because I didn't like how a lot of the time they were just lumped together. So I think it's nice that they have their own spaces now, where they can showcase their own personality and interests. I don't know why Beal would be interested in living in a cave, but I digress. So yeah, and I mean, for the most part, Belphie slept in the attic anyway. So I guess he had his own space in a way, but I mean, yeah. I don't know if I would say I prefer it to their old room, like for Belphie and for Beal. Well, especially Beal's, like, I prefer him to be in his old room because it's an actual room. But I don't know, I like what they've done for both the twins. I mean, I don't like that Beal is living in a cave, but you know, I respect the reference. And so yeah, I think this is just the perfect room for the avatar of Sloth. All of their rooms do seem to showcase their sin or their new personalities, but their personalities a lot more than the old rooms did, apart from Lucifer's, which has lacked his kind of interests in there. It's very cold now. And Levi's, which is a bit too much. I don't like Levi's room, like I said. Beal's room, I don't like it, but I respect it. So that's my take on the bedrooms. I'd say all in all, I like what they're doing. I wasn't expecting for them to change everything about what we know about the Demon Brothers, but it seems that that's the direction they're going in. So it'll be interesting to see what other things have changed for this game. So as always, I'll be sure to keep up to date with any Obey Me Till Death Do Us Part news. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in whatever I make next.